Welcome to the deep dive. You've brought us this incredible stack of sources detailing really one of the most consequential nights in recent SVO memory. Our mission today, filter that noise.
Exactly. We're going way beyond just a simple recap.
We want to give you that distilled, high-octane analysis you need to really understand the new power dynamics taking shape.
Today's focus is a deep, deep dive into the outcomes and, maybe more importantly, the systemic implications of sVo Showdown 240. This wasn't just any broadcast.
No, not at all. Live from the Goodfellas Casino Arena, Las Vegas, September 14th, 2025.
Right, and the sources make it crystal clear. This night was the official launch pad for the Road to Ultimate Victory 2025. It signals that shift towards the really big events of the sV calendar.
This is absolutely where we start sorting the real contenders from. Well, the cannon fodder. The stakes for every single competitor couldn't be higher right now. We've tried to organize the complexity into three crucial pillars for our analysis tonight.
Okay, first up, the official start of the Victory Cup tournament itself. Prestigious, yes, but also, how does its structure impose itself on the title chase? Second, we have to look at the immediate and, frankly, shocking fallout from the narrative shaping the sVo championship picture. Specifically, the cold, hard control being exerted by corporate powers and some calculating veterans.
And the third pillar, which really defines this deep dive, I think, and it comes straight from the source material, is that constant tension between the commentary voices.
Ah, yes, Sloan and Fiasco.
You've got Jeremiah Sloan, the ardent moralizer, seeing genuine tragedy and injustice everywhere.
Sees the worst in everything, or maybe the truth. Depends who you ask.
And then you have Julian Fiasco, the ultimate cynical pragmatist. He looks at every calculated betrayal and sees, what, intellectual superiority?
Pretty much. He views it as effective strategy. Understanding that duality, that clash in the commentary booth, is absolutely essential to grasping the emotional and the political landscape of the LdCE right now.
It's like the battle for the soul of the company, isn't it? Playing out not just in the ring, but right there on commentary.
Exactly. So let's unpack the actions Fiasco might call genius, but Sloan would definitely label cowardly.
Okay, we absolutely have to start with the most emotional moment, the one that's still kind of reverberating from the previous week.
Right.
That brutal attack involving the veteran CJ Dreamer and his young protege, Ricky Johnson, the underdog. The sources make it clear this hung over the entire show.
Oh, absolutely. The visual itself. CJ Dreamer, this respected mentor figure, turning on Johnson, leveling him with his signature Dreambreaker, that double underhook DDT. It was pure shock theater. And Sloan wasn't just upset. The sources say he was devastated, called it a shocking, cowardly betrayal, said it permanently damaged a promising young career. He was really emotional about it.
But Fiasco, his immediate reaction just set this cynical tone for the whole evening, didn't it? He didn't see tragedy.
Not at all. He saw pragmatism. Fiasco instantly rationalized the assault, called it a necessary, effective lesson, declared, in his typically cold fashion, that in this business, blood money is thicker than loyalty.
Wow. That's not just commentary, that's a philosophy.
It perfectly encapsulates the darker side of the sVo we're seeing unfold right now.
And this betrayal wasn't just left in the past, right? It bled into Showdown 240 itself.
It did. It led to this moment of really intense, almost powerful silence backstage later in the show. Katie Smith, clearly disturbed by what happened, she tracked down CJ Dreamer. Wanted an explanation, demanded one really, for the emotional and physical damage he inflicted.
The sources paint such a vivid picture here. Dreamer, impeccably dressed, moving with this calculated speed but internally coiled. And when Smith confronts him, he gives her nothing. No verbal defense, jaw tight, face utterly blank, just a cold, unreadable mask.
Smith pressed him too. What could possibly justify destroying the career of the kid you mentored? And Dreamer, he just shakes his head. Tiny gesture like dismissal. Turns his back, walks away. Not a single word.
That silence, as you said, it speaks volumes. Sloan saw it as proof of guilt, right? Like Dreamer was a deeply troubled individual, couldn't even defend his own action.
Exactly. But Fiasco, he found it brilliant, calculated, a justification-free act of genius. Why waste breath explaining the necessary evil, cutting the weak link? The action itself was the explanation.
It's fascinating how that individual, that cold ruthlessness, immediately connects to the corporate kind, demonstrated by Amy Page, the COO.
It's a perfect transition, actually.
The same night establishes betrayal as a business strategy, and then management uses the exact same playbook.
We go from the locker room betrayal straight to the rarefied air of corporate control. Paige is introduced in her office, opulent, dimly lit. The whole setting screams measured, dangerous power.
Right, she's sipping red wine, totally calm, cool, almost frighteningly collected, and she summons Danny Domino.
Yep, summons him regarding his crucial first-round Victory Cup match against Bryce Brantley.
And this is where the sources just lay bare the manipulation. Paige doesn't just want Domino to win, she issues a corporate mandate.
It's blatant. She calls Brantley a severe inconvenience, a headache, unpredictable, messy. His potential advancement, she says, would ruin her meticulously planned tournament bracket.
It sounds less like a sporting competition and more like she's managing a hostile corporate takeover or something.
That's a good way to put it. And the key takeaway is the explicit threat. It's not subtle. She orders Domino to wipe him off the board, specifically tells him to use his finisher, the domino effect, that rolling urinage, for maximum destruction.
And the consequence if he fails?
A very big problem for Domino himself. This isn't subtext. This is the COO actively leveraging her power, her position, to enforce a predetermined outcome. To eliminate Brantley, this undesirable competitor, from the ISU championship picture before he can even become a variable.
So, the big question then. If the competition is already compromised by executive mandate, what happened in the ring? Did Domino actually execute the hit?
The sources confirm he did, and the match, well, it unfolded entirely under the shadow of that corporate pressure. Domino came out visibly tense, you could see it, but focused.
Okay.
Brantley, true to Paige's description, fought with that unpredictability. Quick strikes, unexpected reversals. For a second there, it almost looked like Brantley's chaotic energy might actually derail Paige's grand plan.
That's the beauty of wrestling, though, isn't it? Even a mandated outcome needs a believable performance. How did Domino ensure compliance knowing Paige's wrath was waiting?
Well, Domino's strategy clearly shifted mid-match. It went from just trying to win to prioritizing efficiency and brutality, exactly as ordered. There was a moment Brantley attempted a running block in the corner. Domino sidestepped. Brantley crashes shoulder first into the post. Domino seized that moment, applied a relentless ground game, wore down Brantley's resistance, hit an immediate stiff powerbomb, then transitioned, looking for that mandated finisher.
Did he hit the domino effect?
He hit it perfectly. The rolling urinage was delivered with like a visible degree of viciousness, and Domino held the bridge just a fraction longer than necessary. A clear message sent to the COO watching backstage.
No ambiguity there.
None. The 3 count was definitive. Domino advanced. But the cost. He moved forward not really as an athlete who earned his spot, but more like a corporate enforcer, securing his paycheck, avoiding punishment.
This is crucial. It tells us Amy Page's control isn't theoretical. It feels absolute. The competition is compromised right from the first round.
Seems that way.
If you cross Paige, if you disrupt her meticulously planned bracket, you get wiped out. This one match just confirmed Fiasco's worldview, didn't it?
Yeah.
Calculation, ruthlessness, whether it's physical or corporate, always prevails over unpredictable spirit.
It absolutely did, and the result sets a terrifying precedent. The road to ultimate victory seems paved by those who conform to the executive strategy, not necessarily those who fight with pure heart.
Okay, so shifting gears now from the corporate boardroom to more of a factional war room, let's analyze Generation Joint, or GJ. They made their mission statement loud and clear right after that domino match.
It really did. Felt like they were trying for a hostile takeover of this whole tournament.
It started with Jay Adder, right? The self-proclaimed king of chaos. He delivered this intense, almost defensive backstage promo with Katie Smith.
Yeah, defensive is a good word. It laid bare their insecurity, but also their colossal ambition. The mission statement was simple, but delivered with fire. Respect.
But why defensive if they think they're the most influential group? Adder was clearly grievance-driven, complaining that GJ's always whispered about, called entitled, whiny, even failures. He feels like the focus is always on the past. Legends, Mike Best, Knight, Psycho Steve-O, Roscoe Shane, like the present is being totally eclipsed by this romanticized past.
It suggests their ambition is fundamentally reactive, doesn't it? They're not just seeking glory. They seem desperate for external validation.
Yeah.
To overcome this perceived deficiency.
So the goal is?
Use the Victory Cup. Use it as the ultimate stage to prove definitively that GJ is the most influential, the most important, and the most dangerous collective in professional wrestling today. That was his quote.
And he didn't just lay out the mission. He explicitly named their opponent Chlamydia as the first sacrifice. That word choice, sacrifice.
Very telling.
Extremely telling. And they backed up that rhetoric instantly in the ring. The match between Jay Adder and Chlamydia, the sources nail it. A decisive exhibition of dominance, designed specifically to showcase GJ's lethality.
And Idea was kind of the perfect foil for that, unfortunately.
Totally. He looked overwhelmed, plain, visibly intimidated by Adder's presence, and knowing Jacob Izaz was lurking right there at ringside.
Idea tried an aggressive start, though, right? Charged Adder with a clothesline? Maybe desperation?
Yeah, fueled by desperation perhaps, but the execution was flawed. Adder ducked it effortlessly. This wasn't a struggle, it was, like you said, an execution. Adder instantly countered with a stiff forearm smash, dropped Idea to his knees, clinical, brutal efficiency, crushed Idea's offense before it even started. Adder worked quick then.
Very quick. Reinforced the idea that this was a message, not a match. Delivered a brutal combo of strikes in the corner, then executed that devastating, picture-perfect memory lane piledriver. The sources really emphasized the precision. Flawless. A statement piece.
And what about that pause after the piledriver? That felt significant.
It was. Adder didn't rush the cover. Stood over the prone Idea for a beat, casually held up one finger to Izaz at ringside, like a sign of shared triumph, total arrogance. Only then did he make the cover for the 3 count.
And the post-match declaration.
Kept it simple, looked straight into the camera, stated GJ doesn't ask for respect, we take it. This whole segment was just a masterclass in establishing a collective superiority complex through sheer, unforgiving ring dominance.
So the narrative shifts again, from corporate control to factional control.
Precisely. And that dominance rolled right into the next match. The second GJ member, Jacob Izaz, the Messiah of Violence.
Against Marty Murdoch, the Miracle. This felt like a more compelling matchup on paper. Izaz, the technician, the submission specialist, versus Murdoch, the gritty, tenacious brawler.
And Murdoch came out like a house on fire, ignored the faction threat at ringside completely, started strong immediate tackle, flurry of strikes, culminating in a thunderous spine buster, got a near fall. Murdoch was fighting with pure, raw tenacity, refusing to be just another sacrifice.
But this is where Generation Joint proves their real strength isn't just individual skill, it's the organization.
Exactly. That's their true finisher. Murdoch was looking to lift Izaz for a powerbomb. Looked like he might get it. But before he could, Izaz went low, thumb to the eye.
A classic low blow, but the ref missed it.
The key detail is why the ref missed it. Jay Adder, fresh off his own win, steps onto the apron, starts jawing loudly at referee Lucas, distracting him completely.
Ah, the coordination.
That coordinated synergy. The low blow executed precisely when the official's attention is diverted by the ringside accomplice. That defines Generation Joint. Like Fiasco keeps saying, it's never a fair fight with them.
That synergy is the absolute core of their threat.
So while the ref deals with Adder,
Izaz capitalizes. Murdoch's momentarily blind, in pain. Izaz hits a quick spinning kick, then immediately executes the chaos theory, that vicious swinging neck breaker.
Nasty move.
And the transition from the neck breaker to the submission finish. Immediate. Decisive. Izaz didn't even bother with a pin attempt. Cinched in the sleeper hold, tight and unforgiving.
Murdoch had nothing left.
Nothing. Already compromised by the low blow, the neck breaker. He just had no fight left. Arm dropped 3 times, referee had to call for the stoppage.
So let's synthesize this. 2 matches featuring GJ members.
2 wins. Jay Adder and Jacob Izaz both advance in the Victory Cup.
And Julian Fiasco's cynical prediction that the faction's solidarity and willingness to cheat makes these encounters never a fair fight proven absolutely correct.
They're using organization, calculation, tactical rule breaking to just dismantle this tournament bracket by bracket. The threat they pose is twofold. You've got Adder's individual brutality combined with Izaz benefiting from that organized numerical superiority and cheating. They've turned the Victory Cup into their own hostile takeover arena. The question now is, can any individual competitor possibly withstand both the in-ring attack and the ringside manipulation?
That's the million-dollar question right now.
Okay, let's shift now from the explicit corporate mandates and the factional cheating. Let's look at the battles fought more purely on athleticism, power, strategy. But even here, who advances tells some interesting patterns.
Right, starting with Noah Rogan, the Rising Sun, versus Jake Blackwood, the Lone Wolf.
Classic matchup dynamic here.
Absolutely. The quintessential speed versus power dynamic.
Yeah.
Rogan, the technical high-speed guy, he needed to keep Blackwood, the immense powerhouse, perpetually off balance. That had to be the strategy.
Deny Blackwood momentum. because once Blackwood starts rolling...
He's a runaway train of violence, exactly.
And Rogan was brilliant early on, wasn't he? Used that speed perfectly, hit a lightning-fast tornado DDT, immediately followed a running knee strike in the corner, then that spectacular plancha to the outside.
It wasn't just random moves either. It was a sequence designed to prevent Blackwood from even breathing, let alone setting up one of his big power moves. Rogan even tried to ground the big man tilt-a-whirl arm drag right into a headlock, trying to use Blackwood's size against him, force him into a technical match.
Shows why Rogan's considered such a promising technician. Real ring IQ there.
Definitely. But the tide turned quickly, and it illustrates the terrifying simplicity of Blackwood's power.
How did Blackwood break the hold?
Not with a complex counter, sheer force. Rammed Rogan repeatedly into the turnbuckle until the hold broke. Followed up immediately devastating running clothesline. Sudden snap scoop power slam. Momentum shifted, just like that.
And from that point, the match changed.
Completely. It became less about competition, more about survival for Rogan. Blackwood started using this brutal neck vice, just grinding Rogan down, turning the contest into, as Fiasco gleefully called it, a mugging. Blackwood was just too big, too strong, too menacing once he got his footing. Rogan's speed game couldn't contain him anymore.
Rogan showed incredible heart, though, fighting on desperation.
He really did. Escaped the hold, even managed to stun Blackwood momentarily. Hit a desperate, flashy super kick, the move known as Memory Lane.
Okay, so that showed Blackwood can be hurt. But then Rogan made a mistake.
A critical, irreversible error. Born of instinct, desperation maybe, he attempted a high-risk aerial maneuver against a standing powerhouse, launched himself into a moonsault.
Risky. Very risky against Blackwood.
And that's when Blackwood showcased a truly terrifying degree of strength. He didn't sidestep, didn't roll away. He caught Rogan, clean, in midair.
Wait, he caught a moonsault mid-flight.
Caught him.
That's phenomenal. That's timing, core strength, just pure violence potential right there. That's not just lifting weight. That's neutralizing dynamic energy instantly. What does that tell you about Blackwood's ceiling?
It tells us Blackwood is operating at an elite, truly menacing level of power that very few guys can touch. When he caught Rogan, the match was instantly over. No question.
How did he finish it?
Immediately capitalized.
Yeah.
Drove Rogan down hard with his signature running Death Valley driver, the Blackout driver. Secured the pin. Ruthless, efficient, final.
So the takeaway from Rogan Blackwood, it perfectly illustrates a harsh reality in this tournament environment, maybe. Technical skill, high-flying heart, even at their peak. Just overwhelmed by sheer, uncompromising, menacing power.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Blackwood advances because he only needed that one key moment to shift momentum, and his strength just ensured Rogan could never recover.
Which brings us to the main event of Showdown 240, Victor Holland versus Dylan McLeod. This felt like a necessary palate cleanser after everything else.
It really did. Positioned as this respectful yet intense clash between two top fan favorites, two renowned aerial assassins, a sharp contrast to the cynicism and cheating we saw earlier.
Yeah, the atmosphere felt different for this one, like a battle for genuine glory, and the action delivered right. Fast-paced, back and forth, complex sequences, top-tier athleticism from both guys.
Absolutely. McLeod's agility was incredible. Fantastic tope suicida to the outside, executed perfectly. Holland countered with that explosive strength, beautiful German suplex, with a bridge for a near fall, a quick snap power slam. They were trading power and speed, just testing the absolute limits of each other's endurance.
What were the defining moments? The sources mention absorbed punishment and calculated risk.
Yeah, early on, McLeod attempted his diving foot stomp. Missed. Crashed hard, injured his knee. The sources made a point of highlighting that detail. It visibly slowed McLeod's high-flying offense, forced him to rely more on strikes, submissions, fundamentally changed his game plan for the rest of the match.
But even with the injury, the resilience from both was off the charts.
Incredible. Holland delivered moves that looked like match enders. McLeod kicks out. Conversely, Holland somehow absorbed McLeod's finisher, that lightning-fast spinning pile driver, the McLeod driver, kicked out at the absolute last possible second.
That kick-out must have stunned McLeod.
It absolutely did. The sources describe him sitting on the mat, arms on his knees, just visible disbelief. That moment of hesitation, realizing his best shot wasn't enough. That gave Holland the tiny window he needed to reset.
So how did it end? The final sequence?
A desperate, exhausting war of attrition. Trading these ferocious forearm strikes in the center of the ring, neither man willing to go down. Holland was the one who seized the last opportunity, delivered a powerful T-bone suplex, finally leveled McLeod.
And Holland knew that was his chance.
He knew McLeod was on the brink. knew he needed something definitive, hauled McLeod to the top turnbuckle, climbed up himself, and launched into his own high-risk aerial finisher, the Skyfall. That corkscrew 450 splash hit it perfectly. Hard-fought victory.
Wow. What a match. A marathon.
It really demonstrated that while, cheating and corporate mandates ruled earlier, pure, hard-fought athletic brilliance and taking those high risks can still prevail. It was this emotional climax, a total contrast to the calculated cynicism.
And the post-match.
Mutual respect. An embrace. Standing ovation from the crowd. It reminded the viewer that there is still a pursuit of genuine, earned glory in the SV.
But the big question lingers, doesn't it? Can the beauty of that high-flying war actually withstand the brute force and the organized cynicism waiting in the rest of this bracket?
That's the cliffhanger, isn't it? Hashtag tag outro. So let's try and synthesize the new reality after Showdown 240. We now have our first 4 major players advancing in the Victory Cup, and each represents a very different pathway to victory.
Right. You've got Jake Blackwood, the frightening, seemingly unstoppable powerhouse.
Then Jay Adder and Jacob Izaz, the calculating core of Generation Joint, advancing through dominance and cunning.
And finally, Victor Holland, the fan favorite who won through sheer athleticism, resilience, and putting it all on the line.
These results immediately establish a highly stratified tournament bracket, and they highlight the 3 dominant intersecting narratives that are going to define this road to ultimate victory going forward.
Okay, let's break those down one last time. First, culprit control.
Amy Page successfully used her executive mandate to eliminate an undesirable factor, Bryce Brantley. Proved her meticulously planned tournament bracket isn't just a goal, it's an active, enforceable strategy. Competitors now have to be looking over their shoulders, wondering if their loyalty or lack thereof will cost them their careers.
Second narrative, factional dominance.
Generation Joint proved their collective strength, and their, let's be honest, willingness to break the rules makes them the most organized and therefore arguably the most dangerous force in this tournament. Their 2 victories weren't just skill, they involved calculated, coordinated cheating, leveraging their numbers.
And third, individual pursuit of glory.
Competitors like Holland and Blackwood, relying on pure, raw talent. Holland on his speed and resilience, Blackwood on that terrifying power. They're fighting the battles based on skill, sure, but they are clearly running a high-risk gauntlet against these organized forces.
That stark contrast brings us right to our final provocative thought, something for you, the listener, to really mull over. The road to ultimate victory. It feels like it's rapidly become less about whether you have the talent to win and more about whether you control the system, or at least have friends who do.
So when you assess the field now, what actual competitive chance does an honest, high-flying competitor like Victor Holland stand, especially when he's likely facing a strategically aligned, cynical force like Generation Joint?
Right. And even if he somehow gets past them, how does he navigate the cold, calculated control of Amy Page? She's already shown she'll threaten talent just to manage her preferred outcome.
The ultimate question isn't just, can Holland out-wrestle them? It's becoming, is skill simply less important than political alignment and organizational efficiency in today's sVo?
And these early stages of the tournament strongly suggest that Julian Fiasco's cynical worldview, ruthlessness and calculation prevail well. It seems to be winning out in spectacular fashion right now.
That is the true daunting challenge facing the road to ultimate victory 2025.